Hey guys, Sean here, and I shot a video in the past on what to do if your Microsoft ad account got suspended. And instead of shooting the exact same video a second time, but using the word Google instead of Microsoft, I'm just gonna segue into that video. Everything in this video is exactly the same, okay? This is what you would do if your Google account got suspended, how to get it back, and go from there, okay? So without further ado, here's the video about Microsoft, but you can apply it to Google and everything else is the same. So let's have a look. All right, guys. My favorite, or least favorite video, I should say, Microsoft Ads account was suspended, okay? And this happens. Just full transparency, it happens. Not going to run away from it. But it happens like less than 5% of the time. And usually the culprit is, unfortunately, something on the user side of things. It's very rare Microsoft is going to shut your account down because they just want to have fun with you, right? It usually has to do something, unfortunately, with a mistake that you may have made on your end. But don't worry, most times you can fix it. And if for some reason you can't fix it, which would be shocking to me, there's always Google and other traffic methods that we'll get to, okay? But the vast majority of you should not have this problem. If you do, I just wanted to make a quick video to walk you through what to do about it, okay? So if you had your account suspended, the questions I want you to ask yourself are, is it a new account? Like sometimes if it's brand new, Microsoft just wants you to verify yourself. Maybe you, unfortunately, you were traveling, for example, and you're actually from Canada, but you happen to be watching this course in Miami, Florida, America, and you sign up for Microsoft there and you put your Canadian info in there, and they might think that that's a little fraudulent, you know? So sometimes when that happens, it's just very simple to call them up. Also, it looks a little fraudulent if all of a sudden you start spending $10,000 a day when you've never spent a dollar before, okay? So things like that could trigger temporary suspensions, and oftentimes you just need to contact them. We'll talk about how to get your accounts back. Does your credit card address match that of your website privacy policy and terms, okay? So if your privacy policy and your terms and conditions have a different address than your credit card, that could sometimes trigger a fraud warning, okay? So this could be a little weird if, like, for example, you don't have a business. You're Sean Agnew the human, but Sean Agnew doesn't want his home address in there. So in his privacy policy, he puts a P.O. box, okay? But then I don't update my credit card address on Microsoft, and I use my home address. Well, when Microsoft crawls my website, which they will, they're going to notice a weird P.O. box address that doesn't match your credit card address. So the best thing to do is, A, if you go get yourself some sort of address that isn't your home address because of privacy reasons, right? In your privacy policy and terms, call your credit card company up and match it. Also, if you get a business that has a new business address, call your credit card company up and match it, okay? Make sure those two addresses match up. All right. Did you log in with a VPN? You know, I've told you not to do that like 50 times in webinars and office hours, but I'm going to hammer that home. You can have a VPN. VPNs are for scoping other people's offers. Okay. Once you're done doing that, turn it off. Because what happens is when you log in with a VPN, it looks fraudulent. These companies have like robots and algorithms that just get triggered by these things. Okay. Did you use somebody else's payment method? Are you Sean Agnew and then you use Jim Jones's credit card in your account? All right. Big no-no. If you're business partners, that's one thing. But if you're business partners, you would likely have a business account on Microsoft, right? You would put your business name when you set up the account, and your business partner would probably be using a credit card that has the business name on it as well. All right. So try to just do stuff like that. Have you been suspended in the past? Like one of the most common things. All right. Honestly, it's unfortunate, but if you got suspended like 10 years ago, these guys sometimes are crazier than like the CIA, FBI, and they find you out, okay? So if you've been suspended a long time ago, they can tie your accounts together, all right? Did you open up a new account even though you already had an account? So guess what? I actually made an account for this program, right, under Agnew Holdings, and that account got suspended. Why? Because I have my account under Stacked Media, all right? So don't open up multiple accounts. Microsoft is able to catch that. Did you run a niche that's not approved by Microsoft, okay? If you're out there trying to run gun ads or something crazy like that, I mean, that one's on you, right? So 99% of people that face bans face them for these reasons right here. And it's oftentimes on the user. It's rare. I've never actually seen it. Well, that's not true, but it's super rare. Like 0.001% of the time do I find it where I look at somebody's ban and I'm like, I can't really see what this person's doing. And sometimes Microsoft can be silly. I remember years ago when we did an e-commerce course, Microsoft didn't like that somebody said, I can't even remember, guys. Somebody said terms and conditions instead of terms of use, or the other way around. It was really silly. And we just had the user call them up and they got unsuspended. It wasn't even a thing. So you could sometimes run into super funky issues that don't fall into these categories. And there could be a category or two I missed. I'll just be honest. But generally speaking, if you don't do these things that you see on the screen, you're very, 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 very likely you're going to be fine. Okay. And don't worry though, it's not over. Okay. Account suspensions happen. I've been suspended from many ad account platforms. I've been suspended from many email platforms. I always get them back. Always. Every time there's ways around it. Okay. First of all, call. Okay. Call, email, harass the hell out of Microsoft. I've told people this before, and I've had people call, and like 2 months later, they get their account back. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting to the right individual who can actually help you out. A lot of these employees might be located overseas, or they just reading off a script and they don't really care. But sometimes you can run into that person who actually understands, listens, and fixes your issue. Be resourceful. Call them every single day. Ask a friend and family member if you can use their ads account. How many people do you know out there that are running Microsoft ads? Probably nobody, right? So hit up your friend. Just say, hey, man, would it be okay if I use your Microsoft ads account for my business? All right. And one thing you'd probably need to do is figure out how that payment info is going to work. You kind of have to have a trust in your family. They might have to trust you to sit there and say, like, you might have to use their credit card payment. Maybe you give them $500 in cash and they put their credit card in there. There might be a little bit of a trust thing, right? Because credit card and address have to match. But if you want the business to work, be resourceful. Maybe you can find even another business partner. That's like 2A and B. Partner with somebody, one of your friends. Say, hey, I'm running this business model. You be the payment. I'll be the, ads will do like a 70-30 type split or an 80-20 type split or whatever. Give them 10%. Whatever you negotiate, right? Figure that out. That's on you. Don't open up another account. You're just opening up a can of worms and making yourself even look more fraudulent. Don't do that at all costs. Do not open up another account. We're going to try to get this one back. However, if all else fails, you spent all your time and energy for weeks on end, you can't find a friend or family, you don't want to open up another account, Microsoft just says no like 50 times. All right, you've exhausted options 1 through 3. Now we're going to basically become a new human being, right? We're going to get a new ID. We're going to no. Basically, you can, I don't want to call it gaming the system, but this is how you become a new entity. It's totally legal. It's not against their terms of service. Open up a new business. Let's say even if you have a business, it's like, I don't know, $400, $500, $600. Call up Prime Corporate Services, right? We have a link in a previous video, and get a new business, right? Set one up. That's a brand new name. Get a new address for that business. Don't use your home address, okay? That business will have an address, and get a new credit card. All you got to do is just call your card company up and say you lost your card. They'll mail you one out, and change your address while you're at it, okay? So you have a new business, a new address, a new credit card. Call up your internet. Okay, change your IP. Tell them you want a new IP. Tell them your modem's broken. Get them to send you a brand new modem. That'll have a new MAC address. You don't have to understand what this stuff means, but your modem's not working. They give you a new one. Get a new router, all that kind of stuff. Maybe switch internet providers. I don't know. Microsoft and Google are really good, but if you have a different IP, you have a different address, you have a different credit card, you have a different business. Honestly, if you have an office and you were logging in from home, it's probably better to use your office because that's a different location altogether even, all right? And then really, this is optional because I don't want you guys spending a lot of money, but even a new device helps. I've heard of Microsoft, Google, Facebook, these big ad platforms. I've heard of them being able to even track you by the device you used, okay? That's an optional one, but if you really want to be crazy about it, that's what I would do, okay? Number 4 has worked many times. For me, when I got started back in the day, I was doing a lot of stuff that you shouldn't be doing, and I was getting accounts banned all the time. And then, to be quite honest in here, I'm going to double click this, and I don't have this service, so don't ask me about it, okay? But number 5 is buy an account. All right. You can definitely do that. There are services out there. I don't know exactly how to find them. Go to Facebook groups, ask around. If I was to give you a link, too many people would use it, and then that person would get shut down. But that's like a black hat, last resort, you really want back on Microsoft, you can probably buy them. There are companies out there that buy and sell ad accounts all day long. So, long story short, if you really want to be resourceful, you can get your account back, you can get around this stuff. But the first part of it is, don't do any of these things on this list here. Stick by everything and you'll be perfectly fine. But if somehow you do, follow the solutions I gave you. And I promise you, if you really do it, even if you go to number 5, there's no excuse for not being able to get an ads account back, right? So that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.